Okay. Kia ora. And welcome back. I hope you all had an enjoyable couple of weeks. We have a new adventure following the previous character, Diacris. So, without too much further ado, we shall get into it. I haven't planned an introduction as such, so this will be completely new. Where? Here we are. The city thrusts up from the barren plain, beckoning you towards it. Formed of walls and spires and tiled roofs. Oh, wait. So, that should be better. Let me just check that. Microphone. There we go. Okay. Apologies, I need retraining after even only a week off. Let me try that again. Kia ora, everyone. Hope you had a wonderful time. I have not prepared an introduction as such, so we will get right into the story following Diacris. The city thrusts up from the barren plain, beckoning you towards it. Formed of walls and spires and tiled roofs, it is a welcome sight after weeks on this barren, featureless plain known as the Ride. You have had your fill of solitude now, and are ready to be amongst others once more, to share company, stories, perhaps even to trust, who knows. Ilunvur opens its gates to you, and you find much here to enthrall your senses. The biggest settlement in all of the Ride. Merchants of every feather ply their trade within these walls, and you busy yourself pursuing the many wares on offer as you while away the days in this humble yet welcoming city. As far north as you are, the far-reaching hand of the Zentarum seems but a trifle here, although you know they will surely be present in some capacity. You take several small errands. You take several small errands for local townsfolk, minor quests that keep you busy while you consider your next move. One such quest leads you to the acquaintance of a local wizard who goes by the name Malthuvius Illenward. You take a liking to this old man and end up spending many hours in his company. He is a treasure trove of information. It is clear that he has seen much in his time and has traveled to many distant lands. One evening, when you arrive at the wizard's dwelling for a glass of wine and some good company, he greets you at his door with a worried frown on his brow. What is it? You ask. The old wizard is silent for a moment. Then he beckons you to follow him. Come inside, my friend, he says. You follow him through to his comfortable study. Malthuvius tells you that he has just learned of some terrible events that have transpired on the Sword Coast, many hundreds of miles away. Have you heard ever the name Krond Vikur? Malthuvius asks. I have, you reply. Indeed, the name sends a chill down your spine. There may be no criminal in Faerun more wanted than the orcish marauder Krond Vikur, responsible for untold murders and the sacking and burning of countless villages and towns across the realms. Vikurk has been at large for many years, but so far has always managed to elude capture. Krond, with the aid of an army of orcs, goblins, hobgoblins, gnolls, and Grumpsh, only knows what else, has taken the town of Daggerford hostage, Malthuvius says. He has the entire village kidnapped and held to ransom at some unknown location. It seems the village has grown bored of his usual pillage and slaughter. This time, he is demanding, has grown bored of his usual pillage and slaughter. This time, he is demanding a huge ransom for the release of Daggerford's citizens. How much, you ask? 100,000 gold pieces, to be paid to the nobles by the nobles of Waterdeep, or anyone who can afford it. Of course, the nobles of that city are far too self-interested. There is no way they will negotiate with that treacherous orc. They will make the excuse that it will encourage further similar acts, and so these nobles have offered a hefty reward to anyone who can kill Krond and release the villagers. 1,000 gold pieces. Sounds simple enough, you reply. I'd imagine people would be flocking to take up the cause. Not so simple, Malthuvius says, looking down sorrowfully. Krond has hidden the hostages somewhere secret, a location that will be difficult to find. Someone with superior skills of deduction and a sharp mind is needed for this. Malthuvius looks up. I immediately thought of you. You are flattered at this. But Daggerfall, excuse me, but Daggerford is hundreds upon hundreds of miles from here, you say. It will take a month to reach it at least. Malthuvius smiled faintly. My friend, you must understand something. My daughter, Kalani, lives in Daggerford with her husband and her son. She will be among the kidnapped. I am prepared to do anything at great expense to myself, so I have hired the services of a powerful local mage to teleport one of my choosing to the area. And you are the only one I deem worthy of such a challenge. Malthuvius looks down at his gnarled, wrinkled hands. I am old, my friend. My years of traveling the realms are far behind me. That is why I came here to Ilunvur, to escape the troubles of the world. Kalani and her family visit me here once every 2 years. But if Krond follows through on his end of the bargain, I will see her no more. Malthuvius buries his head in his hands and begins to sob. You regard Malthuvius compassionately. He looks like nothing so much as an old, frail man, and you cannot see how you could refuse him. Yet this decision is tinged with sadness. You have grown to love this lonely, barren expanses of the north. Returning to the Sword Coast will be a culture shock. That area is densely populated, and you will be back amongst the world of humankind once more. Amidst all their troubles and dramas. But there is only one choice to be made here. Of course I will do this, my friend, you say quietly. The old man looks up, a soft smile spreading across his tear-streaked face. Silently, he grabs your hands and squeezes them with gratitude. When you get there, after you have perhaps searched Daggerford for clues, you may want to visit Vraxopharus. He lives somewhere way northeast of Daggerford, in a tower within a small wood. He will offer you whatever assistance he can. Malthuvius provides you with a map of Daggerford and the surrounding areas, telling you to plan your travels wisely. That night, not wasting any time, Malthuvius summons the mage, who he contracted to perform the teleportation ritual. It takes the mage all night, but by morning the ritual is ready. Stepping inside the circle, surrounded by runes, you bid Malthuvius farewell. Go with the gods, my young friend, he says, embracing you. I may never see you again, but if you see my daughter, please give her my love. I will, you say, and even as the words are leaving your mouth, you begin to feel a bizarre sensation as your body is dematerialized and sped through the ether towards your destination. Sometime later, the sensation of being teleported across hundreds of miles is a bizarre one and leaves you feeling disorientated and drained. You can't see anything at first, although you can hear running water nearby. It takes several moments before you can even focus your senses enough to get a grasp on the world around you. When you finally do, you find yourself by a river within a shallow gully sprawled out on a stony beach. It is early morning. Luckily, there were no enemies nearby who could have taken advantage of your compromised state, or your quest could have come to an end right there. You check your belongings and are relieved to find them all there, having made the magical leap with you, taking a little water, you look around. A little ways off is a large wooden bridge, well constructed, currently devoid of river crosses, taking this as a sign that you are near civilization. You cautiously ascend the grassy bank that leads out of this shallow gully, and see a town about 2 miles off. A nearby wooden sign informs you that this is indeed Daggerford. You are on the Sword Coast, and it takes you a while to digest this information. Orientating yourself by the position of the sun, which sits just above the horizon to the east, you see that the town lies to the north. Turning, you see a range of hills to the south. You weigh your options, and then you hear it, a deep booming sound, carried on the air to you from the north. Drums, relentless, pounding drums, mocking you, taunting all those who might think to come near. So, we now have a choice to make. Choose a location to travel to. Current location is Daggerford, so no progress points are required to reach that. Remember that travel to anywhere adds progress points. Go to the campaign map, choose a location. Okay. When you have chosen, hover over. Note that Delimber Hills and Secomber are depicted on the map but are not areas of interest. When traveling between locations, roll for random encounters. Okay. Well, we may as well start at Daggerford, as we are there. You travel to Daggerford. Arrive. Stealthily approaching the sizable town of Daggerford. You do not see any of the usual things characteristic of a busy settlement. There is no traffic to or from the town, no noise or hubbub from beyond the town gates, and no guards patrol the fortified walls. Indeed, the only motion you can see coming from the town are the multitude of plumes of smoke billowing from within its walls. Slowly, you edge closer towards the town gates, which are wrecked and hanging off their hinges. Corpses litter the entrance to the town, and looking through onto the main street, you see that Daggerford bears all the hallmarks of recent pillage. The doors of many dwellings stand open. Belongings have been thrown out into the street, some buildings even gutted by fire. This town is a sorry state. You wonder how its inhabitants are faring, wherever they might be. You cautiously make your way onto the main street of Daggerford. Let's start with the left. So, there are locations on this map that attract your attention. And one progress point. I should keep track of these. I don't quite... Wait. Nope. We shall go find it. There it is. Okay. So, progress points. We have one of those so far. So, we are coming from the south by the looks of it. Well, let's start at 1. By the looks of it, a large building. Making your way inside this hall, you see that it appears to be a temple, once richly appointed. Gold painted pillars line both sides of the hall, like sentinels guarding a procession. A white marble altar bears an idol, an oversized gold coin, turned up to show the face of a smiling lady. However, crude graffiti is painted in white across the coin and the pillars, defacing the beauty that was once this shrine. The beautiful tapestries have also been defaced, and you see the remains of a money box at the foot of the altar, broken open, with a few coppers scattered about. So let's make a religion check. We'll go to there. Look at that. It's almost like I'm a professional. Almost. So let's make a religion check to see what we know about this, the deity of this temple. However, that is only a 2 on the dice, and I don't think Diocris has a +10 to his religion. Religion. Nope. +1? But not quite. So. There we go. So, first point is 256. Okay, so that was unsuccessful, so we go here. This deity is not familiar to you. No matter how you rack your brains, you cannot recall this imagery. Well, we shall look at the graffiti now and see what we can make of that. That is a DC 12 intelligence check. That's better. That's a 15 +1. So 167. You immediately recognize the sharp angular script as orc. Whatever crude messages are splashed across the temple, it was orcs who made them. Do I speak orc? Probably not. Although I have not determined languages yet. But that's okay. I will say that I don't speak Orcish. It would be a little too convenient. So, what was I here? However, we have determined that this is Orcish, so we will go back and we'll go to 408 to search the temple now. So, you make your way around the temple, looking under the various overturned items of furniture and other detritus. An investigation check, DC 15, will get us something. Unfortunately, that is only a 13. Unless Diacrus has, nope, only a +1 to his investigation, so that is only a 13. So that is unsuccessful. So we have explored that. We shall move over to the, what would it be? West, I suppose, to another building. No, that is incorrect. Maybe it's underneath it. The drums pound on, reverberating off the side of every building, filling the empty town of Daggerfoot with noise, relentless, madness-inducing noise. You approach the building, slowly scanning the outside. It appears to be deserted. As you near, you see that it is not one building, but two L-shaped structures which wrap around each other. A tight alleyway runs between the buildings, barely wide enough for a human to fit through. Testing the gap, you see that a human-sized person would probably get stuck in here. Even a dwarf would be too broad. Being wedged in between two buildings, waiting for an orc to come and skewer you with an arrow does not sound like a nice prospect. I am not a halfling, so I would not be able to enter there. So we will enter what looks like a boarding house. Was it 46? Yes. So, you make your way into the boarding house, entering a long hallway, which turns to the right at the end. On either side of this hallway, doors lead into rooms. All of them are shut, except for two, one of which stands open nearby, the other at the end of the hall before it turns right. To the nearest doorway, I suppose. No point in backtracking if we don't need to. So, entering this room near the front entrance, you quickly scan around. This room looks like it was abandoned in a hurry. You find luggage which has been rifled, and the ripped pages of what looks like a merchant's ledger. There is also a bag here, which contains a few clothes and not much else. An investigation check to see what else we can find. DC 14, wow. That is a unnatural 20. I do hope you can see that. Oh, look, you can. Wonderful. An unnatural 20. So, here. You find a little pouch with 50 gold in it, and a small piece of parchment with a note. It reads, Selena, go to your aunt's in Waterdeep. Her address is number 78 on the Street of Lamps. She will look after you. There is nothing else of any significance to be found in this room. I will make a note of that just in case. 78 Street of Lamps. Water deep. There we go. Okay, so we shall now continue down and search the room at the end of the corridor. Oh dear. That seems to be the wrong place. One moment. Let me just find where I was. Yeah, 249. And this is why you make a note of where you have gone. So we then went to 412, yes, of course. And then we went 127. Excellent. So, moving towards the end of the hall, you hear noises. Someone or something is down there in that room. So we will make a stealth check. DC is 14. And Diacris, I believe, has not proficiency, but a high dex. So this, we need a 10 on the dice. And that is only a 7, so that is a 13. No, an 11, unfortunately. So we will go to the unsuccessful, which was 78. Creeping towards the end of the hall, you accidentally step on a loose floorboard, which gives a loud creak. Then, from the room, you see a bird-like humanoid emerge. A Kenku, you believe. Who are you? It demands. Are you following me? You respond that you are an adventurer on the trail of the kidnapped citizens. 282. Oh dear. Oh, I must have gone to the other one. 78 should be nice and close. It must have words. There we go. Yes, okay. 282. There we are. Where is it? 280. Oh, of course, I went too far. You would think I'd be used to this by now. Okay. So, You explain, as I said, that you are on the trail of Vikurk. No doubt you have heard of the reward being offered, you say. And who might you be, my fine feathered friend? The Kenku's stance relaxes somewhat when you show him that you mean him no immediate harm. I am Nibbler, the Kenku tells you. Nibbler Coalfeather. I was searching this boarding house for any clues that the orcs might have left. Anything to tell me. He breaks off then, probably realizing that he is talking to a rival. Where the hostages are being... apologies, this is me. Where the hostages are being kept, yes? You finish for him. That is what I search for too. But we are rivals, yes? We both compete for the same prize. Indeed, Nibbler rasps. And I am not one who wants to share in the reward, friend. Is there any information you can share with me? You ask, hopefully. I have only just arrived. Nibbler pauses for a long while, regarding you carefully. I will share this, he says. Castle Daggerford lies in the east part of the town. I believe there are many orcs in there. Important orcs. If not Krondvekerk himself, then some of his lieutenants certainly. But I think it may be hard to gain entrance. You will need your wits about you, for sure. If you are considering entering the main gate might not be the way. Thanking Nibbler, you wish him luck, with your fingers crossed, and then continue on your quest. So I believe that is the only option. Yep. So we will head back to the map. We will go to A3, which is just below them. So, moving on further north in this sector, there is a narrow alleyway. Peering down this alleyway that runs between houses and the outer wall of Daggerford, you catch the smell of death. Rotting corpses are around here somewhere. Perhaps this was the scene of a standoff between Daggerford town guards and the invading forces. Moving quietly along, you see a space between two houses, where the alley branches off and forms a dead end. A door appears to be barricaded here from the outside. Was it orcs barricading in their enemies, or the other way around? You can't tell if the death stench comes from beyond that door. It seems to be all-pervasive in this area. So let us investigate the alleyway first before going to the door. It is that. You move through the alleyway, looking under old sacks and crates, seeing what you can find. As you are searching, you hear a tentative meow and turn to see a ginger tomcat emerge from behind some barrels. It approaches you cautiously. You notice a collar and name tag around its neck. Let's try and coax the animal nearer. Animal handling check. I believe that should just be a +4. Yes, +4. No proficiency in that, but high wisdom. And that is only a 2. The dice giveth, the dice taketh away. So, unsuccessful. 397. The cat is unimpressed with you and quickly scampers off. 220. You leave the cat and continue searching. An investigation check. Only DC 10 this time, so that's nice. And that is a 14. Whoops. So that is a success, and we go to entry 6. You finally discover the source of the stench. Underneath some overturned crates is a corpse. This man looks like he might have been a merchant once, but now he is no more than a rotting cadaver. His fine clothes blackened and his flesh decaying. A black-fletched arrow has pierced him right through his eye. Obviously, Krond Vikok didn't take anyone prisoner. Soon you find that the stench of death is overpowering, turning your stomach. Constitution saving throw. I am going to give Diacrus advantage on this because he is a mercy monk, and they have a plague mask that he is always wearing. So still a lot to take on, but yes, I feel advantage is only right. That is 18 plus a lot, so there's a DC 12. 352. You fortify yourself against the horrid stench and quickly move away. So we shall now investigate the barricaded door. I think is a good next step. There we are. You make your way up to the barricade. Crates and barrels are stacked high against the door. Whoever did this meant to confine whatever is within the building. You wonder who might be in there. Was it orcs imprisoning humans, or the other way around? We shall try to remove the barricade. 245. Yes. Let's remove the barricade. You start moving crates and boxes aside, setting them to one side of the alleyway. However, some of these crates are incredibly heavy, which is probably why they function so well as a barricade. Strength check. Ooh, this is not going to be good. It doesn't have a good strength. It is 10, but not. I'm going to have to be a 16 on the dice. And it is only a 6. 139. You are unable to shift the larger crates to gain access to the door. Whatever is trapped in there will have to remain so. Well, Diacris shall attempt to knock on the door and see if there is anyone on the other side. So where is that? There. 60. Hello? Anyone in there? You shout out to anyone who might be trapped inside. You wait a while, but hear no answer. Well, then we shall return there, and we shall go to the guard tower to the north. Slowly you approach the guard tower, watching for any signs of movement. The tower appears to be deserted, but you are taking nothing for granted. There could be orcs in here, lying in wait to catch stragglers, or some beast that has taken up in the tower since it was emptied of inhabitants. Approaching, you see another dead body in the doorway this time, which appears to be the body of a guard. His tunic is stained with dried blood, and he has obviously been dead for some days. Covering your mouth, you step over the corpse and proceed inside the tower. A spiral staircase leads up to the top floor of this tower and continues down below ground. Let's go to the top of the tower to start with. 427. You ascend the spiraling stone staircase towards the top of the guard tower, meeting no one on the way. At the top, you find the corpse of a guard slumped over the side of the watchtower. You quickly check him over. In one of his pockets, you find a little note, obviously given to him by his sweetheart, perhaps even the morning he died. It simply says, "Thinking of you, my love, now and always, Verena." You are moved by this and vow to avenge the deaths of these innocent townsfolk. Going to the east window, you see that you have quite a good view of the town. At about the midway point of the town, you see a large wall running north to south, cutting the town in two. Above the wall, you can see the roof of a small manor, actually more like a castle. And you discern that this must be Castle Daggerford, sitting within a compound which takes up the entire eastern half of the town. To reach this, you would have to progress east until you reached the gates, or find another way through the wall. There is nothing else of interest in the guard tower, so we will descend the stairs and go below ground. Slowly, you descend the staircase, feet making barely a sound on the smooth stone. It doesn't take you long. We'll go back to that for now. It doesn't take long before you begin to hear something. A gobbling, munching sound coming from below. Cautiously you proceed. Reaching the bottom of the stairs, you see a doorway into a large room, and you move towards it. You peek around the corner and see two creatures with their backs turned to you, ripping into crates and sacks of stored food and gorging themselves. One is a large goblin, and the other appears to be his pet direwolf. We shall take this opportunity to end it there. We will I think, yeah, we will attack these starting next episode. But that feels like a very good place to end it for today. And I shall be a little more prepared for next time. I do hope you have enjoyed the session so far. And farewell. Enjoy your week. And I do hope to see you here next time for the continuing tales from the Adventurers Guild. Goodbye. And we will stop streaming now. Is it stopping? And I didn't record it. Shit. Oh well. Well, I do hope that stopped. Oh.